hall of Yoga for Runners and a Runner's Circle. That's yogaforrunners.net and a runnerscircle.com. Today is day 2 of my 30-day Yoga for Runners video challenge. And the thing that I want to talk to you about today is the yoga pose Tadasana and its importance in reinforcing proper running form. So there are 4 basic principles of good running form. Number 1 is posture, then midfoot, cadence, and lean. So I'm just going to focus on posture and Tadasana and how they relate to each other. So we both know that in running, the better our posture, the more efficient we are. The more efficient we are, the longer we can run, the easier we can run, the harder we can train, the longer we can train. So let's do Tadasana with me. So if you're sitting down, I want you to stand up. Take your shoes off. You can leave your socks on if you want to, but follow along with me. We're going to start with our feet. Our feet are always our foundation. So in running, in everything that we do. So find your feet hips width apart. Notice if the toes are out or the toes are in, and see if you can have them parallel right underneath your hip bones. I want you to lift up the toes and just wiggle them about. You're going to plant your pinky toe, your ring toe, your middle toe, your pointer toe, and then your big toe down. And really root through the 4 corners of your feet. So that's the mound under your big toe, the mound under your pinky toe, and the 2 edges of your heels. So this is called Padabandha. That's foot lock, foot lock. And so there's a subtle engagement in the arches. So we're rooting down through the feet and energetically lifting up. So we got our feet down. Now we want to look at the legs. The legs are not just, loosey-goosey. They're actually active. The legs aren't locked. There's a slight micro bend in the knees. So they're not locked or hyperextended, slight micro bend. And think about the inner thighs moving towards each other, the outer thighs moving towards each other. The kneecaps lift up just a little bit and our quads are active. If you're doing this right, you should even feel it in your calves. It just might be a subtle muscle stimulation, but it's still there. Okay, so from our hips down, we're really rooting down through our legs, and what that does, it helps us lift up through the chest, creating this lightness. So we have our hips are right underneath our shoulders, underneath our torso. So we want to keep this. So a lot of times what we see is that the lower back kind of rounds out, the tailbone rounds out, the glutes stick out. And so what I want you to do is take your hand to your lower back, your sacrum, and then just help your tailbone lengthen down towards the ground. So we're creating this tailbone to heel connection. And what that does, it tilts the pelvis forward back into a neutral position. So when you do this, you should feel this subtle engagement, subtle activation in the lower core. Those are lower abdominals, the transverse muscles here. So do that with me, almost over-exaggerate just for the sake of it, and then lengthen that tailbone, the pelvis tilts forward, the core begins to activate. So that our cores are center, power, control, stability. So now we have that. Our shoulders, we're going to relax our shoulders down away from the ears. A lot of times throughout the day, we might start there, but as we begin to type at the computer or text, the shoulders start to go up and even forward. And also we carry a lot of stress and tension in our shoulders, so they're kind of creeping up. So we really want to think about relaxing them down. And it frequently happens in running too. You might do a 10K and you're like, boy, my legs feel fine, but my shoulders are hurting. And that's one of the reasons why, because this happens. So let's think about rolling those shoulders down away from the ears. The chest begins to expand, and those shoulder blades also begin to come towards each other and down the back. And once we do that, the palms naturally flip open in this stance of receiving. Okay, so now we got our shoulders on top of our hips on top of our knees and ankles, and now the head and the neck. So a lot of times, perhaps because we're on the computer or whatever, our head starts to lean forward. And wherever our head goes, the rest of our body will follow. So we want to keep our gaze ahead on a drishti. And drishti is a focal point, and I'll talk about that later. So a lot of us also lead the way with our chin. So the chin is up here. So what I want you to do is take your hand, take your finger to your chin. Move it back just a little bit and then drop it down. And that will help elongate the spine, the back of the neck, so that the crown of the head is reaching towards the ceiling or the sky. So take a breath in here, close your eyes, feel how active this pose is. It is active but still and strong. So when we're running, we want this. We want this activation throughout the core, throughout the torso. And as we run and as we step and do our push-off, those legs are pressing into the ground while we create this lightness and this lift through the chest, which will help alleviate slunch syndrome that happens when we're running and this happens. So think about pressing through the heels, that tailbone lengthens, that chest lifts, arms by the side, shoulders down away from the ears, and chin down a little bit towards the chest with the gaze at the horizon. Okay, so that's Tadasana. Try it out. Next time you're running, see if you can check in with all of those points. And if you only remember one, think about lengthening the tailbone to the ground, and that will basically help put you back into posture and help with your running. So that's day 2. That's a tip of day 2. So if you'd like to see more, please click like on the Facebook page, share with all of your friends, and if you have any questions about anything else related to yoga, running, how they're related, nutrition, stretches, anything, please do let me know, and I am here to answer all your questions. Thanks! Have a good one!